Hey guys, and welcome to Dog Training Secrets they don't want you to know about, the truth about housebreaking and potty training. Now, they're the same thing, how some people call it housebreaking, some call it potty training, but we're going to go over what that is today. And everybody goes through this, whether they have a puppy and it's just learning to go to the bathroom outside or learning to go to the bathroom on a pad, wherever you want your dog to go pee, or even a rescue dog that's 3 or 4 years old. Everybody has to housebreak their dog in that new environment. Now, this is very important to have under control, or your house will be a mess, as some of you know, or most of you know. But first and foremost, before anything, you're probably overfeeding your dog. Never truly follow the feeding guidelines from your dog food companies as they're trying to get you to consume more and buy more. When the dog eats so much of that dry kibble, generally most people are feeding dry kibble. And there's nothing wrong with that if you get a good one, free of chemicals and um, right for your dog, but generally that's dry, so they need to suck up. You'll notice if you're feeding a dog dry kibble, they're going to drink more water. So if you're overfeeding them, they're going to overfeed on water as well. So make sure you basically feed your dog just enough so it stays its constant weight. Not You don't want to see any ribs and you don't want it to be too big. So don't necessarily follow the feeding guidelines on the bag. You want to sort of get a weigh your dog, make sure that it stays a constant weight, and you'll figure it out after a couple weeks the proper amount. But usually, I mean, as a general guideline, go less than what the package says on your dog food. Don't overfeed your dog because it's going to make it a lot tougher. Because it's going to be harder to control if they're always having to go to the washroom and pee and poo. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, housebreaking shouldn't take more than 1 week. Again, it'll be difficult if you're overfeeding, unless you're, home all the time. Some people work from home, but generally, if you're not, it's gonna be very tough to housebreak a dog if you're overfeeding them and they're over drinking. And one of the big things is use correction. We're gonna go over this. Use correction in your housebreaking. It's often left out. People don't know how to do it, so I'll show you how to do that. To crate train or not, most people have to put their dogs in a crate, otherwise known as a cage, or an area that's blocked off. Now, it's okay to use that, and if you have to, you have to. But I mean, if you have to, if you think you have to, you don't have to, and I'm going to show you how you don't have to. But some people have to right now. Okay, they have to, or their dog will tear up their house. But that's okay. I'll show you how to do that, and I'll show you if you don't want to do that. I'll show you how to do that as well. I don't crate train. I don't use crates. I use a crate the first night, maybe first 2 nights, and we'll go over all of that. But you don't need to crate train. You don't have to use a crate. It works. It can work, but to me, that's like putting your dog in jail and leaving it there. Okay, so I'll go over the way to give your dog more freedom and happiness, and it doesn't involve a cage or a crate. What if my dog's already used to crate training? That's fine. You just have to untrain them out of that, which you can. It'll take a little longer. But if they're used to crate training, I can show you how to do it with or without it. I'll give you both options. But ideally, you don't want your dog in a cage. You want it to eventually have freedom in your house, just like you. You don't want to sentence your dog to a life in a cage. Here's the real way to housebreak. Say you have a 3-month-old puppy, you brought it home. Get an area, get a cage for the first night. I don't use a crate more than a night or two. You put it in a cage, and here's the key that everybody gets wrong. A dog generally won't pee where it sleeps. It'll pee maybe a couple inches next to it, on the other side of it. But if it's in its direct laying area, it will not pee. It'll encourage it not to pee overnight. I only use a crate again the first night, but I'll explain to people who are doing that now how to do this. Get that cage and make it so that dog can only literally stand up and turn around and do a turnaround. The way to do that is you don't necessarily have to buy a smaller cage. What you have to do is get a cardboard box. Put a cardboard box in the back of that crate until literally you may have to do it so it's half the cage and half the box. So that dog can basically, you throw it in there at nighttime and that's where it sleeps. Does that make sense to you? You're gonna cut off so much space that the cardboard box only allows your dog to just sleep and lay down. It can't go walk a foot or two. It literally can only turn around, do a twist, and lay down. It won't pee in its sleeping area generally in 99% of the cases. So that's one way to do it. If you want your dog to hold overnight, you can do that. You can block off. This is a little hack here, a little tip. Block off half the cage, even more if you need to, if you have a bigger cage, with a cardboard box. And get a cardboard box because it's sturdy and it's got the right shape. And block your dog in so it's just got a little area, just enough for its body to fit. The smaller, the better in this case. Okay, that's one way to do it. Um, we're gonna go over the way I do it. But that's right if you want to do it with a crate and you want to block it off. That's a great tip you can do right now. If your dog's in a cage and you stop here, get a little cardboard box, depending on the size of your dog. Even if it's a small little toy breed, you can use a shoe box. But block it in so it's just enough for its body to barely just lay down, so it doesn't pee. It won't pee in the area that it sleeps. Before we go over this, some precautions. Uh, Things you may experience when you start correcting your dog and using discipline in a way of housebreaking. Dog may run away from you at first, like anything else, any other correction. May act scared at first that you corrected it. May be stubborn. Some dogs may need more repetitions and attention than others. And for this case, it can take up to 1 to 2 weeks for the brain to reprogram. Okay, for the soil outside. Let's go over the housebreaking process now. I explained to you earlier how to do if you want to do crate training. You just Google that. But the one tip they don't tell you is you want to make a very small area and you use a cardboard box to box them in. That's great if you're doing that. You can get that information anywhere, but that tip I gave you with the cardboard box, that's my key there. If you want to know the way I do housebreaking, this is what I do. First night I take the dog home. Say it's a puppy, say it's a rescue, no matter how old it is. You take it home and you're gonna put it. Say it's nighttime and it's about to go to sleep. You're gonna put it in an area of the house that you are in, that you're sleeping in. Where do you sleep? Of course, your bedroom. Okay, so you're gonna housebreak your dog right next to you in your bedroom. Okay, so we'll go over that and we'll go over where to store it during the day. Right now, we're going to start about housebreaking it overnight to hold overnight and not pee in your house. Now, having a dog sleep next to you or in your vicinity, in your room, doesn't necessarily have to be on your bed. That creates a bond with the dog that nothing else can do. Dogs sleep next to their mothers. They sleep in a pack. They sleep next to their brothers and sisters. That's how they build their bond. They sleep next to each other. They do that for warmth. They do that for bonding. Nothing else will create a bond like sleeping with your dog in your room. It doesn't have to be right beside you. It doesn't have to be beside your bed. It could be at the other side of your bed. It could be at the end of the room. Ideally, I like having the dog right beside me on the side of my bed. I have it right beside me so I can reach down and sort of pet it. So here's what you'll do. You're going to take a little tether. You can make this by getting a piece of chain no longer than 18 inches. If it's a big Great Dane, you may want to get 25 inches. If it's a little Maltese, you might want to make it a foot or 15 inches. So no more than 25 inches. Generally, the general rule will be an 18-inch tether. So you can get a tether, or you can make your own. You can get a piece of chain, whatever you want. Just get a little piece of rope, even an old little a leash that you can cut down to 18 inches. That's the general rule of thumb. 18 inches is going to be for a puppy. You don't want any longer than that. If they can get any longer than that, they can pee, right? You want just enough room so they can just get up, twist around, and lay down. You're going to tether the dog beside your bed underneath the post and put a little bed under there for him. He's not caged in. He's free. You can reach down. You can pet him. That dog's going to sleep overnight with a collar around its neck, not a choke chain, not a pinch collar, just a regular leather collar, a cheap nylon collar you can get from Walmart. Just something to fasten it, and then that 18-inch tether. Again, if it's a toy breed like a Maltese or a Chihuahua or something like that, you might need to go a foot at first. But generally 18 inches to 25 inches. If it's bigger, of course, you want to go a little bigger. Everybody should start with, if they have a puppy, around 18 inches. Tie it to the post of your bed, and have a bed underneath, something just like a little flat bed or even a blanket. That dog can now get up, turn around, and lay down. It can't go left or right. It can't pee left or right. It's just enough room for it to get up and down. That's the tether you have overnight, and you sleep with your dog right beside you, and your hands touching it. That will create a bond like no other. Your dog won't bark in that case. You're right there. It's building a bond. Think about people, homeless people on the street. Think about, uh, I mean, they sleep with their dog. And have you ever seen a homeless person's dog? How well behaved that is? Because they have a bond like no other. They sleep next to each other. Um, in the olden days, I mean, the dogs would sleep. Look at all animals. Look at horses. They're always tethered. They're always tethered. Tethering is one of the keys to all this, and it's an old school thing, and it works better than anything. Okay? So have your dog tethered beside you. You can just reach down and touch it, and you can have it at the bottom of your bed or at the front of your bed. I recommend that. And that way the dog can let you know too if it has to go to the washroom in the middle of the night that first couple times. But here's what you want to do. You won't have to correct. It won't cry and whine this way. If it does, well, we give it a correction. If it starts whining and moving around and getting antsy, take the towel, give it a no and a throw. It'll settle down. Give it a relax command. You give it a relax, a little throw of the towel as it per the other videos, and that dog will settle right down. Another thing is you don't want no water before 8 o'clock. Take the water away before 8 o'clock. If you go to bed even earlier, do it around 6 or 7 o'clock. You take that water away. Don't worry, they have water throughout the whole day, and you're gonna put it right back in the morning time. But if you're having problems with holding over the night, don't feed or any water or food before 7 or 8 o'clock. Just take it away. Now, if you have to wake up the first couple nights throughout the night, that's fine. They'll let you know. Just go and let it out right away and take it right out. You know where you want to take it in your backyard, front yard, wherever you want to take it in the grass. And do not leave until that dog goes to the washroom. And as that dog's going to the washroom, you're going to say, go pee, go pee. If it's going pee, go pee, go pee, go pee. Repeat it over and over and over as it's going. If it's going poo, go poo, or whatever word you choose. This first week or two, I want you to repeat it over and over and over as it's going. Then when it comes in, praise it as if it did the greatest thing in the world. Now let me see. We're gonna go over here. Okay, so that's basically, it's very simple. The dog's gonna sleep beside you at night. Now you're maybe asking, what did I do during the day if I work? We'll get to that. But this is a little tiny recap on this part. Sleeps beside you, a little tether, little chain, not long. It can't be long because it can get tangled in that, and it has to have a swivel at the end. It can't just be a chain. Get a real chain with a little swivel at the end. You can make your own, and something that can't get tangled in. Okay, 18-inch chain. You can get a tether at the pet store. You can get a little cheap chain, cut it down to 18 inches, and tie it to the side of your post. And again, it's just to hold it in place. And you want it sleeping beside your bed where it can feel you and you can touch it. And if not, you can have it at the end of your bed. You can reach down. It knows you're there. It can see you, that you're in the room. It'll change everything with sleeping at night. It'll be a much happier dog, and you'll build a bond that nothing else can do. But just by sleeping next to your dog, it'll build a bond. It's in their instincts. That's how they bond best with other beings. Okay, and especially their own kind and humans. That's how they all did it, and that's how they have always done it. That's how they did it hundreds of years ago. They used tether, and that's the best way to do it now. And again, it creates a bond like no other. Now, leaving it throughout the day. Most people go to work, put the dog in the cage, dog go nuts, and I mean it's like putting it in jail. They hate going in it. Some of them like it because they get used to it. They feel safe there, but we don't want to create the safety in. We don't want to create the safety in the dog cage. We want the security to be with us. We want them to bond with us, not their cage. So by them sleeping beside you, bond. That's the most important point. Your security blanket is you now when they're sleeping beside you. It's no longer that crate cage. You ever notice when you discipline a dog, usually it runs to its cage? Because that's its security blanket. We don't want that. We want us to be the security blanket. And that's done by tethering the dog beside you. It's very simple. Tether the dog beside you at the bed and allow it to sleep beside you and put a nice soft cushion down next to it, or its little dog bed. Sleep throughout the night. When it lets you know, take it out, bring it back in, go back to bed. During the day is a different story, okay? During the day, you're gonna, at first you should tether it to an area that's open. So your kitchen, if you're not comfortable tethering it now, I wouldn't recommend tethering it without supervision. So the other way to do it is you get an area of your house that they can't kind of get out. So like an enclosed kitchen. You put maybe a baby gate up there. Uh, if you have an area where you can just put a baby gate in, they have about 10 by 10 area. Doesn't matter the size at this point. If you have a little bathroom maybe downstairs, put a baby gate so they can see out, so it's open. You don't want to enclose them in a door, okay? You don't want to enclose them in a cage. That's number one. But this is very temporary right here. So you're gonna either baby gate them in a kitchen area or baby gate them in a downstairs little bathroom area that's not enclosed like a door, but that they can see out of. This is only again the first couple days. You just when you go to work, you put them in there. Um, they're probably gonna pee the first couple days. What you're gonna do? Here's the key. Here's the massive key. If you come home from your 6 hour shift, 7 hour shift, whatever it is, and you have them blocked off into the kitchen at this point, the first day you don't. Again, you're not leaving them in a cage. You maybe block them off in a little kitchen area. If you come home and they've peed, sure, it's not their fault. They don't know yet, but you're still gonna bring them up after the fact, put their nose near the pee, and you're gonna scold them. They have a great memory. People think that you can't correct after the fact, but they have a great memory. Dogs are smarter than you think. You're gonna put their face near, not in it, not you're gonna put it near the about 4 or 5 inches away from the pee or the poo, whatever they did in the little area, and you're gonna scold them. Say no, bad, no peeing in the house, no pooing in the house, bad boy. Give a couple flicks on the nose. Physical correction as well as verbal scolding for a good 30 seconds. Make it very uncomfortable that them going in this area is not, you're showing them this is how they understand that no, this is not what I want. It's not acceptable. No, you don't go here. Right after you're done scolding, the second you grab them, pick them up, bring them outside and say, this is where you go pee. Go pee. And you give them a couple minutes to go in the area you want them to go. If they don't go, bring them back in. Hold them with you. Don't let them out of your sight. And then go another half hour, hour later, bring them back out again. You're showing them that and you always have, this first week, you have to be on them. You have to be with them pretty much 24/7 to really housebreak them. But don't, now let me go to the next slide here. The importance of correcting after the fact. Say you go out, like I just spoke of, and they pee or they soil somewhere in your house. Even if it's 3 hours ago and they've done it 3 hours in the corner and you think they don't know what they did, bring them up to that area. Bring them right up to where they did the poo or the pee. Put their face right near it. Have them smell it. They'll remember once they smell that it's theirs. They'll know it's theirs. You see dogs on walks. They pee always in the same spot. They know where they pee. They have their scent. They know where they go. They have a really great memory. They know what they did. You scold. Good 30 seconds. No flicks in the nose. Physical corrections. If it's a bigger dog, stronger flicks. Bad boy. No peeing in the house. No bad girl. No bad, bad, bad. Grab it right after you've scolded outside. This is where you go pee. Go pee pee. If they do go that time, great. For them going outside, they're going to get the greatest pleasure and praise in the world when they come in. When they finish and they went outside, and you're repeating the go pee, go pee, go pee, go poo, go poo, go poo over and over that first couple weeks to really instill for them to go on command. The point of you saying that over and over is that they're eventually going to go on command. When you say go pee, they'll be out there for 30 seconds, go pee, and come back in, even if they don't have to go. By doing that, it's a really great trick. But remember, they make an accident in the house, you scold them for 30 seconds with flicks to the nose, physical corrections. Put your human emotions aside, like everything, okay? Bring them right out. If they don't go, whatever. If they do go, you praise them like it was the greatest thing in the world. You praise them when they do what you want, which is go pee outside or go pee on a pad. Some people have apartments, they want them to go on a pad. That's fine. You praise them when they do what you want. When they do something bad like pee in your house, that's how they understand. You're gonna show them that this is unacceptable by that scolding after the fact. Okay? Let's go on to the next slide. Give you a little recap of everything. Housebreak your dog overnight. Tether him beside your bed in your presence. Okay? 18-inch tether is generally what you're going to use. If you have a huge dog, get a 25-inch tether. Just enough for them to stand up, do a twist around, and that's it. They don't want them running to the end of your bed. Then they'll go pee at the end of your bed if you do it that way. So you want them tethered to the end of your bed. You build a bond better than anything that way. And they can actually alert you if they do have to go in the middle of the night at 3, 4 in the morning if it's a little pup. Take it out, go praise it. Once it pees and goes outside, Praise them for doing what you want. Okay? Say they do make an accident in the middle of the night. Well, shorten up the tether even more for the following night, but scold them. You always want to correct no matter what. Whenever they do a bad behavior, correct it. Correct them. Even if you catch them in the moment, peeing right beside you in the middle of the night. Give them a no. Give them a throw with the towel. Have that towel always beside you in case they, start yelping or whining or whatever that they're doing that's not calm and submissive. You correct for it. You give a throw of that towel. You give a flick on the nose, and then you praise them once they're calm and relaxed. Okay, just like you see the theme here. Praise what you do like and what is acceptable, and you correct what is unacceptable. So you always correct. When you correct enough of that, they can't pee in the house, they'll get the idea and they're going to hold. Now, they're still developing, so you're still going to have to take them out every few hours. Don't think you can let them go a whole 8-hour shift. A whole 6 hours. They're still going to pee. You should have somebody letting them out if you can, or come home on your lunch and let them out every few hours until they're fully developed and, over 7 months old. But that's the general thing, the general right there. I don't believe in that's not that I don't believe, but I don't use crates. After a week, you can let your dog have free roam of the house. How? How won't they chew everything up? Well, you correct for that. You put your dog in a room, okay? You go hide behind the corner or hide behind your stairs and you start peeking at your dog. If it starts chewing up your iPhone charger, have that towel in your hand. No, throw from the 10 feet away from your hiding spot. See if it goes for that wire again. It won't. Puncture your socks in the middle of the room. Go hide behind the door and see if they go up to if they start trying to chew your socks or the scrunchies or anything of your possession on the floor. No, throw that towel with some good force. Make sure it makes contact with their neck area. They will back right up and drop and they'll never do it again. And they don't want it. And look, you're doing it from a hidden position. That's showing them that you can come out at any time. They're not even going to bother touching it even when you're gone. Because they know that there's a potential of that throw. They don't like projectiles. Say they go and drink out of your toilet. Put them near your bathroom. Give them a couple minutes on their own. Hide behind the corner. Keep an eye on them. If they go near that toilet or look at it or sniff it, no, throw, correct it. They won't do that again. It may take a couple repetitions again. You test them again. You hide again on them. If they don't go, they're good. Another thing you can do is you can get these little hidden cameras you can connect to your phone off, you can get them off Amazon. They're like $30, $40. You can set that up during the day. You can kind of watch them and you can see if they're having any issues, right? Now, say you don't want to get a hidden camera, you come home and half your couch is chewed up. Well, we're going to do the same thing as if they pooed. You're going to correct after the fact. Okay? We're going to correct after the fact as well. We're going to bring them up to that chewed up couch that you gave them that one day of freedom, and the first thing they do, that can happen again. The first day and first couple of weeks of you leaving them, they may do stuff like this, and that's good. You want to correct for it. They chew up the side of your couch. You bring them over to that couch, shove their face near it, a couple inches away, let them smell it. No, scold, bad, no. Couple flicks to the nose, make it very uncomfortable for them. Then leave them be. Let them go. Don't praise them, ignore them, right? You're making it uncomfortable for them. Then you can, of course, praise them again after they do something good. Have them come to you, do a down command, then praise them after. But anything they do bad, if they chew up a cord, they chew up a shoe, say you leave them start leaving them alone. You take them, again, during the day. The other good thing is you can leave them in your kitchen area with blocked off with the baby gates, as I mentioned. They're in a bathroom area, something like they have some area to roam around rather than a cage. They can see and they have, an open area to look at. I do that for the first couple days. But after those first couple days, you're letting them roam around your house. They're going to make a couple mistakes. And that's when you're going to have to correct after the fact. If they chew up that little sock, you're going to you're going to bring them over that sock. No, bad. Drop it again in front of them. If they go for it, you can even give them a little towel correction right then and there. They won't go for it. Okay, so the big thing with this, leaving them alone, is the hiding. You have to hide. You have to give them the opportunity to explore your house. If they do something that's unacceptable, come out from behind the hiding. No, throw. And then test it again. If they go for it again, no, throw. When they finally give up on that chewing of that sock or chewing of that shoe, you praise them for not chewing your shoe. So it's pretty simple. There is discipline involved in housebreaking here. You're correcting if they do soil in their house, if they do chew up your couch while you're gone. Anything that is unacceptable in your house, you correct for it and scold them for it for a good 30 seconds. Again, after the fact. You won't hear this very many other places, but any good dog trainer, all the good ones, a small percentage of them out there will say this because they understand that dogs do have memories and dogs are smarter than you think, and they do understand, they know the sense. Why? Think about it. It just makes sense. Why do they pee at the same spot every time on their walks? Why do they know to go back to that same area in the house where they pee all the time? There's sense there. They have a memory. They know. So correct them for it. And then bring them outside and have them go pee out there. And when they do, praise them for it. Praise them in the areas that they're doing good in. Okay? And say you do let them out and they don't go still. Well, bring them back in. Keep them in your sight. You can even put them back in their little area behind the cage there, or let them roam around. Keep an eye on them. Don't let them out of your sight for this next week. Make no mistakes for that next week. Eye on them, with you, beside you. You can either tether them beside you if you want the first day. You can have a little chain and have them right beside you. That way you can watch their body language. You'll start to know what they might give you a little whimper. They might give you a little walk to the door. They'll give you their cue of what go outside means. You don't have to necessarily train that. You'll go, how do I know when to take them out? They'll start going there. Once they know that, they get scolded in the house for going. They're going to know that outside, it's okay. It's a fine space to go. They're going to walk out to the door that you want them to go, okay? So it's very simple. Very, very simple. Tether them beside your bed overnight. Builds a bond better than anything. You don't need no cages. During the day, if you go to work, you think you need, put them in a cage. No, you don't. Get a baby gate, a high enough one for your dog. Put it in the area, like in the kitchen area, block off, or like a little downstairs bathroom, block them off in there. Secure the area. I mean, if you have to put elastic around one of the drawers so they can't get into the garbage, if there's a garbage in your kitchen, that's fine. I mean, seal that off so they can't get into anything. Make it safe. After a couple days, they'll have free roam of your house. And if not, say you give them free roam of the house that first day. They chew something up, correct them after the fact for that. Okay? Correct them after the fact. Scold them for doing what you didn't want them to do. And give them the opportunity again the next day. You'll find after a repetition or two, they won't do it anymore. Right? Okay? So if you have any questions on that, be sure to message me. It's very easy. Throw out the baby, throw out the cages, the puppy cages. You don't need them if you do want to use them. If you're just that comfortable with the baby gate or the puppy cages overnight, put a cardboard box in there to make it small enough so they can't pee. All right. Take your dog out every hour this first week. Scold if they make a problem, if they make an issue in the house. Praise when they go outside or if they go on their pad or wherever you want them to go. The key is that disciplining them when they do go in the area you don't want. Most people leave that out, and it takes them months and months to house break. But if you combine the correcting with the praising, you'll be very happy.